welcome to Industry Insights. Today I'm talking to Gillian Kelleher, President of Kelleher Consultants. Hi Gillian, it's great having you today and thank you for taking the time to participate in this interview. Would you please introduce yourself?
Hi Stephanie, thank you for having me. My name is Gillian Kelleher and I'm President of Kelleher Consultants, and we help food companies build sustainable food safety and quality programs with a focus on prevention.
Great. Of course, you look back on a long and great career in food safety in general, so you are a true expert when it comes to food safety and food quality. So what would you see as the most important thing when it comes to food safety and food quality?
Well, Stephanie, I definitely have a long career in the food industry. And over the years with the different countries, different food sectors, different categories, the one thing that was a continuous theme and a must in my book is consumer trust. When it comes to food safety, it's all about the consumer, their trust in your brand, their trust in your products, their trust in how the company comports itself. And that's precious. And if you've got that trust, you never want to lose it. So you work real hard at that every day. And that takes active engagement. That takes like a continuous dialogue. You got to be there for consumers in a time of need. And I think that, to answer your question, is what I think is most important of all.
Yeah. And the trust is very easily lost, but it is so hard and difficult to rebuild. And then mostly you can't just do that because once it's gone, it's just gone. And
Yeah.
Better have a lot of prevention happening and make sure that the consumer's trust can be accomplished throughout the time instead of then having to rebuild it or trying to rebuild it and probably even fail doing so.
Sure.
Yeah,
I totally
absolutely.
agree. And then the being accessible to, when stuff happens, recalls happen, foodborne illness outbreaks, things happen, but it's how you comport yourself, how the company reacts and responds and is transparent and is helpful. That goes an awful long way to keeping that relationship and keeping that trust.
Right. Yeah, that is also part of trust. And I think recalls are not per se a bad thing. It's how you do them, how you communicate, how fast you act, how open you are with what's going on, with the reasons and why and what you're doing to help protect the consumer.
Yeah.
So that is a big part of that, and yeah, helping to maintain the trust of your consumers. That's
Definitely.
absolutely true. Yeah. Right. So from your experience also, what would you recommend companies next to that preventional part and being open and consistent with their whole process? What would you recommend companies to do to keep their food safe and the quality high?
Well, from my experience over the years, what's paramount in your company, the consumer is always front and center, okay, but it's leadership from the top. So management commitment at the top, uttermost level of your company, that's key. And then prioritizing food safety and saying, yes, for our company, we're a food company, food safety is our top priority. So they would be two things I would say that set the tone, if you will, or the culture, if you will, of the company, and how committed you are to food safety. High standards, food safety and quality, high standards all the way, and also understanding the importance of the role your employees have. Mm-hmm. The employees are critical to the execution. They need to understand why the role that they play is so important for food safety. What are the consequences if something goes wrong? So the employees, top of mind in terms of how you help them, educate them, train them, provide the right tools to help them to be the most effective they can be. So you've got the leadership piece, you've got the priority for food safety, you've got the employees, you've got the what I've gleaned over the years, I worked way back a long time ago, I'm dating myself now, in the UK with a dairy company who became the first in the world to become BS 57550 ISO 9000 certified. And I saw firsthand then the benefits of a process and a systems approach to what's going on in the plant, to the production facility. I saw the benefit for the employee, for the facility, and also for the consumer. So I would say have a process and systems mindset, and then you never, Stephanie, rest on your laurels. You could always be better. So a continuous improvement mindset, always learning. Customer needs are changing, the science is changing, the issues are changing, society is changing. Stay abreast of everything, stay current, and be humble and stay open to continuously improving. And I think it captured most of what I would think in that area. Prevention, what can I say? You did mention it earlier. Have a prevention mindset from the get-go. HACCP and food safety prevention needs to be at the core of everything you do. I think that would sum it up for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more to that. And also to add something to your to the services that you've been talking about, it's not enough having services and having plans, HACCP plan, prevention plans. You have to make sure that your employees are trained on them and are trained regularly. Because, I mean, the best, most experienced system doesn't do any good if people don't know how to use it and how to implement it.
Yeah.
So you may have to make sure that you provide training also to your employees and encourage them to, you know, come to you if they have questions or if there's something that they don't understand or they themselves think they need to be trained specifically. So support that also within your quality team. To me, that is also very important, just to make sure people can use the tools that they are given.
Absolutely. You got to make it as they have so much going on. You got to make it as easy and straightforward to use as possible. And also you have to constantly, to your point on training, be able to provide refresher training as needed. You never want to be complacent about what you're doing. So you always have to stay current and keep revisiting the topic.
Yeah,
it's really important, and listening to what's going on. One other piece I would mention too is on the listening front, is listening to your consumer. What are they looking for? You know, what are their expectations? So you factor that all in as well to your whole approach to food safety and quality and prevention.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. I mean, organic food is, at least here in Europe, it's becoming more and more important. Be sustainable, and also, of course, you know, have your food, know where it comes from, who grew it, you know, all of that, the whole supply chain, knowing the way of transportation. So these are also very important requirements by the consumers these days, and then you want to make sure that you can provide either information or just get better at that, make sure your food is organic, or you at least pay more attention to that in general, because that is in the end what the consumer really wants. And so, as you said, things change, requirements by the consumers change, and that's exactly true. Yeah, we see that these days.
Yeah, and that's you got it. Your business has got to flex to that and the consumer's expectations. E-commerce has been a huge change in the food industry with a very positive impact, I would say, and made people go faster. COVID hit us, you know, and this is one of the good things to come out of the whole COVID pandemic, has been the emphasis on meeting those consumer expectations through e-commerce and adopting more and more technology to help with just what you described, the whole where did your food come from, you know, the description of the food, accuracy of the food, ability to deliver the food how they want it. So the e-commerce piece is driving change, particularly for the retailer sector, but across the board. Then couple that with some major initiatives underway, for example, in the US with the Food and Drug Administration, with their FSMA, and specifically the era of smarter food safety. So you've got a raising of the bar going on technology to help do all those things. And it's whether it's traceability, whether it's transparency of your supply chain. And it really doesn't matter if it's small suppliers or large suppliers or all the suppliers. It's a massive step forward, and it's happening. And that's very exciting, actually. You can tell. Exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And the possibilities to do that are out there. The technical possibilities. So all companies have to do is embrace that and just let it happen. Use it. Yeah, exactly. Have it work for you. And that's another huge step. Well, absolutely right. And I agree. Gillian, is there anything else in regards of current developments or past developments that you think has had a great or the most positive impact on food companies? Is there anything that comes to mind on your side?
I think a couple of other things, and it takes the more holistic view of the food industry. I would say staying connected. So
Mhm.
let's say you're a food company and you're working in your own sector, in your own space, staying connected through something like the Global Food Safety Initiative, for example, where there's a network of food safety experts out there. Food safety is not competitive. You stay connected, you stay current, and also you could glean some best practices out of there. I think that's powerful. The other thing I believe is really powerful for food safety professionals
Mhm.
is collaboration. And the collaboration might come from a joint interest in advancing food safety for the consumer in a particular area. And I'll give you an example right now of something that's going on here in the US with produce safety. And it's a number of leading food safety leader type companies coming together to prevent issues with leafy greens safety. So the focus with them is on prevention and also on modernizing traceability. But it's a great example of companies coming together for the greater interest, the greater good, and the good being for the consumer. And the consumer then that way is front and center. So I think those two traits is doing it yourself to the best you can be, but also engaging in the industry.
Yeah, and it couldn't be emphasized enough. In the food industry, there is no competition, or there shouldn't be competition, because in the end, we're all consumers. And what we do also not only for others, but of course also for ourselves. And we want to have food that's safe and with a good quality. And so we all need to engage and work together on that goal, to reach that goal, and prevent foodborne illness from happening. And if, whenever it does happen, and we already talked about it, that it will eventually, then companies need to be prepared and know exactly what to do, and act fast and accurate, and just inform whoever needs to be informed in the right way also, to make their jobs easier then in the end.
I totally agree, Stephanie. On the food safety front, for sure, it's not competitive.
Yeah,
it's not. Nobody wants to make anyone sick. Everyone
exactly.
wants to work together and share the best practice and collaborate on it. So I agree with you.
Yeah. And I think that's a great last word from you, Gillian. Thanks a lot. And thank you very much for your time. It's been wonderful talking to you today. And well, looking forward to doing that again sometime. And have a great day. And thanks again for...
That was a pleasure. Thank you very much for inviting me. I enjoyed it, Stephanie. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
This has been today's episode of Industry Insights. My guest, Gillian Kelleher. Thank you for your attention, and see you again soon. Bye-bye.